Letter from the Age of Ecocide is a short film about climate anxiety. I really wanted it to be something that I had never seen before. I knew that I had to make it with this team of badass female creators that I have around me. Phoebe Fitz, our director of photography, Dr. Jennifer Adler, our underwater photographer, and Chrissy Lucy, our producer and associate director / costume designer. I knew it had to be shot at Silver Springs. Silver Springs is a freshwater spring near Ocala, Florida. We were really lucky to be able to get a permit to shoot in the spring. It gave us access to a lot of these really diverse areas in the spring that were the perfect place for the different scenes and moods that we wanted to capture in the emotional progression of the film. It was also just so incredible to have all these animals, birds, fish, turtles in the shot while we were filming. It made every scene so vibrant and lively. But the thing about Silver Springs is that there are alligators there.
Come on, man. Look at him looking at us.
And we were filming in the middle of summer, which is the middle of alligator hunting season. We had to put a lot of safety precautions into place to make sure that none of us were chomped while we were filming, especially because I did not have a mask underwater. So even though my eyes were open, I couldn't see. And Phoebe and Jenny are, filming the whole time, so they aren't aware of their surroundings either. And that is why we had Ian, our safety diver, taking great care of us underwater with his mighty stick.
Show us your stick.
We already crashed a couple times.
Oh yeah, definitely protect from the gators.
Everything was going great until halfway through the second day. Poke my head out for a second, I hear, "Gator, gator, gator."
That was kind of scary.
We wanted to come say hi.
A gator just came up on us while we were filming and we all just jumped out of the water.
Our very competent captain did exactly what he was supposed to do in that moment.
And how did you get him to stop?
We just turned the boat on, did a couple circles, little commotion, hearing the engine noise, and of course, you got getting in and out of the water, of course, played a factor.
That really speaks to the professionalism of our team. No one panicked, everyone did what they were supposed to do, and we all got in the boat safely.
We stayed calm.
I knew I would have to free dive in 68-degree Fahrenheit water in the spring, and I was very nervous that, if I got too cold, I wouldn't be able to hold my breath in the water because it's really hard to free dive when you're cold.
How are you feeling so far?
Cold as shit.
I had to do a month-long free diving and cold therapy training in the lead up, and it actually ended up being pretty effective. I was cold, but I was able to hold my breath.
We had hand warmers, fleece jacket, hot tea to keep her warm between takes, which was definitely needed. Oftentimes I was fighting with her with the fleece jacket, but we knew where the priority was.
What do you need?
I need this weight to be changed.
To stay down in the water without letting all my breath out, I had to wear weights. I had to keep increasing or decreasing the weight depending on where I wanted to be in the water column. So if I wanted to be laying down on the grass at the bottom, I had to increase the amount of weight I had on my body.
It was actually incredible to see how long that girl can stay underwater. That takes a lot of talent that I think is easily overshadowed when you watch a film, and it's hard to kind of truly comprehend what goes on behind the scenes.
We had to shoot all of the underwater scenes for this film in 2.5-hour sessions across 2 mornings. It was a logistical challenge also because there are glass bottom boats that run on Silver Springs, and so we had to avoid being in the water when they were. It was no match for our producer, Chrissy Lucy. She really crushed it.
Making sure we're staying on schedule and getting every shot done in each location. Keeping a boogie board near Shireen when she comes to the surface after a long free dive. We had a dream team, honestly. Everyone was doing what they needed to do when they needed to do it, which made my job a lot easier and allowed me to direct from both on the boat and underneath the water when needed.
Close-ups of her eyes clenching, right?
Yeah.
Claudia, how's it going?
You know how it is. Same panic, different disco.
One really fun thing about making this film was that it was such a collaborative process. I wrote the script and then I worked on it with my dad to integrate some ancient poetry and also to translate some of the English that I had written into Farsi. Then when we got in the water, you know, things kind of changed as they came along. It was a very iterative process. That shot where she kicks the dirt, you go through the dirt and you see her dancing. That shot Phoebe came up with while we were in the water.
That specific shot was really challenging. Shireen had to go down, kick the dirt, come back up, and then both Phoebe and Shireen went down and Phoebe went through the dirt, but she couldn't see when Shireen was down there and starting her dance. So I had to direct from underneath the water and kind of cue everyone in place.
It's okay. It's okay. What about spit? I swear.
You really have to respect the nature and work with it in order to get the shots that you need. Respecting, you know, the temperatures of the water, the fact that Shireen didn't have a wetsuit on, respecting that it's the gator's home and we are invading, and respecting the light and the sunlight and when and where it comes in through the trees. So working around that and working in conjunction with nature was really important for this film.
Ahead at a ray of light piercing the water. She swims towards the light.
Okay. So, where are we finding that ray of light?
I had so many plans for what the underwater dance scene would look like by the shipwreck, but by the time I got down there, I was so cold. My muscles were all stiff. That discomfort and frustration that I was feeling being in that cold water, it kind of was the exact vibe that we were looking for.
A highlight of the film was when we were all in the water at the end after we wrapped in the head spring, all together kind of celebrating. It was really beautiful.
I could cry.
I could too. That's a wrap! Yay!
In the end, it all came together and we made it happen. I don't really understand how, but I'm really grateful for it. Eco-anxiety, the anxiety we feel when we think about the destruction of our planet, is something that I experience, and I think a lot of people do. I think that's what bonded our team around this project originally.
Go Claudio, go Claudio.
I think it's an important topic to make a film about because it really touches on the emotional side of this climate catastrophe that we're all experiencing. With the film, we wanted to conclude on a sense of hope, but a bit more nuanced than just hope. We wanted it to feel like a moment of radical acceptance, accepting that maybe things won't go back to the way they were, but we can come together and create unique solutions for the world that we want to see moving forward. This story is deeply seated in the teachings of my ancestors, the ancient Persian poets. And to make a film like this at a time when there was so much turmoil going on in my country, in Iran, a revolution led by women, it was a very intense experience, but it also made me feel so deeply connected to my homeland, despite all this distance. I dedicate this film to my sisters and brothers in Iran as they fight for their even more acutely uncertain future. The film is told through my own personal ancestors' teachings, but it really is a universal story and it could apply to anyone. We want everyone who watches the film to reflect on their own experiences with eco-anxiety and get in touch with what their ancestors might be trying to tell them.